Hello everyone and welcome to a review or a book talk for a book that I read a bit ago. I'm going to be talking about The Shadow of the Wind by Ruiz Zafon. So this is actually part of a series. Now I've heard many people say that they've enjoyed the first book in the series and they feel like the series just goes downhill the more it goes. Now, I cannot say to anything like that. This is the first time I ever read The Shadow of the Wind, and this is the only book in the series that I have read. The series is called The Cemetary of Forgotten Books. There are four or five books in this series. So, this was translated from Spanish by Lucia Graves, and it was originally published in 2001, and I believe the translated version was in 2004. This takes place in Spain. There is an audiobook and it is narrated by Jonathan Davis and is 18 hours and 5 minutes on standard one-time speed. I do not own a copy of this, but I do want to get my own copy. I am planning on, like right now looking at this, I have saved in my Amazon cart for later the whole set, because the whole set is $48.99 as of right now. I'm filming this on May 16th, and it shows there are 5 books in this, not 4. There's 5 books. So less than $10 a book. That's a pretty darn good deal in my opinion. So that whole series is $48.99. So I am just waiting until I get paid to, or either this check or maybe a check or two. But at some point I will be getting that series so I can continue on with it. And I think before I continue on with the series, I will reread The Shadow of the Wind, because there are several things I wanted to underline, but it was not my copy. It was my mom's copy, and I'm not going to do that to her book. So I do want to reread it so that I can underline those things that I found and loved. So what is this book about? So for this one, we are following this boy over the course of several years. I can't remember. Oh, we start out with him being 10 years old. His dad takes him to this secret place where he gets to pick out a book. He is drawn to a particular book. This is told in first person. He takes that book and is basically now the protector of that book. Someone is following him, wants to get hold of that book to destroy the book. As the story goes on, you learn more about this person that has been trying to destroy not only that book, but all books by that particular author of the book. And that's pretty much what it is. You're following his life as he does that, as he has these crushes, falls in love, makes friends. So it's kind of like a coming-to-age story in Spain in the, I want to say this took place in the 60s or 70s, could be a little older than that. But you're just following as he adjusts to that. You can definitely tell at certain parts where he could have, that it is set at an older time, not modern times where we have cell phones and stuff like that, due to how certain things are referenced. He does find out some secrets, and you're just following as he pieces clues together to find out who this author is, what happened to this author, what this author's life. All at the same time, you're piecing out clues to find out more about the narrator's life. So it was a very interesting read. This was my second time reading this. First time reading it as a whole. The very first time I tried to read it, I DNF'd it. I was not in a good space for it. I was very frustrated because there were a lot of things I couldn't understand. I DNF'd it like 3 or 4 chapters in. And so I finally read it all the way through. So, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So Daniel is the name of the narrator and is the person that we are following. He starts out at 10 years old, then he is 14, then we figure out he is 16, and then 18. So we follow him from being a child into adulthood. So that is what it is. That is a synopsis of the book without any spoilers. This is one that you definitely want to go along. You're along the way. You're along the ride of this story with Daniel as he's figuring out about this narrator, this very mysterious narrator. So let's talk about content and trigger warnings. You have physical assault, you have threats of suicide and acts of suicide. You have someone who is a man who is, I think today, In the book, it is a man dressing up as a gypsy, as a female gypsy. They would call him a transvestite in more modern times, or transgender. I don't know if he would really, or drag queen type thing, but he is beaten up because of that. So there is that. You have talk of loss or death of a mother. You have domestic abuse. You have anti-Semitism mentioned, as well as incest. So you got a couple of things on this. Let's see, you have talk of a lunatic asylum is what it was called back then. You have sexual harassment, homophobia. You have talk of someone having trouble conceiving children. You have a word that starts with D like delta, which is used as a slur for someone who is a lesbian. And I think that's it. That's all that I have written down for the content and trigger warnings. So a couple of things, some of these do not go into depth. They're just kind of glossed over and kind of pop up every now and then in the book, but they are in there. So do be aware of that. So those are the content and trigger warnings. Now let's get into the word counts in case you're still on the fence of this for this book. We have hellish 1 time, slut 3, prudish 3, queer 2. Now this word is used as far as being odd. That's why I include this in this, because it's not the modern day usage of it. It is more then. So I can see how that would be confusing to some people until they realize, oh, it's used differently. So that's why I have that in here. Breasts 10, ass 3, shit 17, piss 3, hell 18, the word Lord 10, not always in a religious sense. I think usually it is not in religiously. You have the word fuck 8 times, whore 11, bastard 4, the name Jesus 8. I think usually in a religious sense in this. Could be wrong on that, but at least sometimes in a religious sense. The word road, sexually used 1 time, penetrate once, although the sex scenes in this are more fade to black, so I would not classify this as spicy. The word horny once, gigolo twice. I don't see that word pop up a lot in books. Tits once, whorehouse once, antichrist once, prick twice, quickie once, damn 7, whoring once. You have the R slur 1 time. That should also be, I should have included that in the content and trigger warnings. So the R slur, like rainbow or regiment. So the R slur is the word that is used as a slur to describe someone who is maybe mentally handicapped or mentally disabled. So that type of a slur. The word genital once, libido once, pornography once. The name Christ 9, not always in a religious sense. The word godforsaken once. Here's another slur. The F slur, F like future, which is the slur used to describe a male who identifies as gay. The word pimp once. Bitch 10. Tart once. I think that was used as, if I remember right, a derogatory description for a woman who is, I could be wrong on that, but either way it's a derogatory use. The word goddamn once, suicide once, fondle twice, holy shit once, wench once, balls 6, bloody once, fornicate once, arousal once, and the word motherfucker once. A couple other words. You have erection once, screw once, nipple once, tramp 5, and masturbate once. So those are the words. I did find you do have a little bit of disability rep on this. You have someone in this book who is blind. So you do have that representation in the book as well. So let me know, have you read The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafon? Have you continued on with this series? Do you agree with what other people have told me, that the quality and the enjoyment of the books goes downhill the longer the series goes? Or do you absolutely love the entire series? Let me know your thoughts. Have you only read, like myself, The Shadow of the Wind all the way through and are kind of on the fence with continuing the series? I do want to continue the series. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this book. Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.